In the 1.90 patch, the bonuses from Veterancy were changed for every unit. Relic stated the goal was to make units more distinct and increase the power level of high Veterancy units. Before we dive into that, first let's discuss a few of the key Veterancy design differences between Code 2 and Code 3. In Code 2, Vet 1 usually unlocked an ability, and that was it. It was rare for Vet 1 to give a boost to combat strength directly, though the Vet 1 ability itself may have boosted combat power. In Code 3, Vet 1 still unlocks an ability, but also gives the unit a stat boost as well. In Code 2, there is almost nothing that gives you an immediately vetted up unit, or a way to gain Veterancy faster. Whereas in Code 3, there are loads of purchasable upgrades or battlegroup options that can give a flat XP boost, immediate Vet 1, faster Veterancy gain, or some combination of multiple Vet boosts. In Code 2, it is faster to hit Vet 3 with a lot of different unit types. For example, it was common for Mainline Infantry to start hitting Vet 3 at around 15 minutes. Whereas in Code 3, without any of those Vet boosting upgrades, Mainlines seem to hit Vet 2 around 14 minutes and Vet 3 around 30 minutes. And when we compare game length, last patch only 20% of Code 3 1v1 games went beyond 30 minutes, where in Code 2 last month it was 29%. So in Code 3, Vet 3 units are a bit of a rarity, which is worth keeping in mind when we look at the new Vet 3 bonuses. Have you ever felt like your indirect fire weapon was owning?
Monster kill!
But when you check the kill counter, the numbers were underwhelming. That may be because there appears to be a bug on explosive weapons in Code 3 where sometimes a kill doesn't get properly attributed to the unit. As an example, these Panzergrenadiers are going to kill a rifleman only by throwing grenades, and these ones over here are going to use small arms fire instead.
I want a grenade on that position! Contact! Get it down! Pin down!
The grenade throwing unit only has 4 of the 6 kills attributed to it for a total of 715 experience, compared to the small arms squad that has the proper 6 kills and a total of 845 experience. Kills count for experience, so if they aren't being correctly attributed to units that are using explosive weapons, then how can we trust the veterancy on these units? This is a pretty severe bug that really needs to be fixed. Thanks to user 1391 on Reddit for shining a light on it, and I imagine this will also be impacting in-game stats and some of the challenges that can earn you merit. I'm going to group unit types so we can see how their vet bonuses measure up to their competition. Starting with heavy machine guns, they all have the same Vet 1 and Vet 2 bonuses. At Vet 3, they all get 20% increased rate of fire, which is inside their burst stat, instead of the usual reload and cooldown bonuses that rate of fire has meant in these veterancy descriptions in the past. This means they shoot 20% more bullets per burst, which should mean 20% more damage and suppression. At Vet 3 they all get 20% damage reduction except the M1919 that gets 30% damage reduction. When combined with all its other bonuses, the M1919 is very resilient to damage. For the other unique Vet 3 stats, the Vickers gets 10 degrees extra firing arc, which isn't that important for normal use, but very handy for the Vet 1 focus gunnery ability. The MG34 gets 20% extra accuracy, helpful for more damage against infantry. Finally, the MG42 gets a 20% boost to reload and cooldown. And since it needs to reload first when you activate the Vet 1 phosphorus rounds, this boost synergizes well with the MG42. Pre 1.9.0, machine guns used to get 20% reload speed at Vet 1, which is now only on the MG42 at Vet 3. They also had 20% burst length at Vet 2 and 20% accuracy at Vet 3. So machine guns are now worse than they used to be before Vet 3. However, machine guns are not isolated in this type of change. Most units had bonuses taken away from Vet 1 and or Vet 2 and shifted to Vet 3 or had them removed entirely. Going forwards, I won't mention veterancy bonus removals too often unless I feel that a unit got shafted by the changes compared to their peers. For a more detailed look, Lady Rytsu compiled a list which I've linked below. Make sure to check that out. The pattern of the same Vet 1 and Vet 2 bonuses with a unique Vet 3 continues in other team weapons, such as with Mortars, except for the Mortar half-track, which has similar but more vehicle-relevant boosts at Vet 1 and Vet 3. In my testing, it was difficult to tell if the Vet 2 scatter buff was applying to barrages. Not that it needs to, because even at max range, the scatter on these light mortars is already tight enough to consistently land on team weapons. You can notice the scatter boost applied to auto-fire, but since the rate of fire is so bad in auto-fire, I feel these are primarily barrage weapons, making this somewhat of a dud bonus. The light mortar's unique Vet 3 boosts are 25% extra rate of fire on the US Forces mortar, 20% more damage on the Wehrmacht mortar, both of those sound good, and plus 15 range on the British mortar. Given that the 3 inches Vet 1 entrenchment mode makes it immobile and a bit of a chore to move around, the extra range is very welcome. Unfortunately, at the moment, the Vet 1 entrenchment is bugged. It doesn't buff the mortar's rate of fire at all. And the Vet 3 rate of fire bonuses don't seem to be applying correctly to most of the barrages, only working on auto-fire, so I can't properly evaluate them. Moving on to the heavy mortar and light howitzers, they have the same veterancy except for their Vet 3 unique bonuses. The US Forces and British pack howitzer get plus 16% damage. The LEIG gets 10% extra rate of fire. Look at how fast this guy moves during a barrage. And the 4.2 inch heavy mortar gets plus 20% range on its barrages and abilities, but not on auto-fire. For anti-tank guns, it is the same story, with the same bonuses from Vet 1 to Vet 3, except for the Vet 3 unique stat. The USF M1 gets double duration on its armor-piercing rounds, though frustratingly, it means it no longer shares a hotkey when grouped with a lower Vet AT gun. When attacking from camouflage, the Wehrmacht Pack 40 gets to fire 2 shots with the ambush bonus instead of 1. The 6-pounder gets 10 degrees wider firing arc, helpful for its Vet 1 entrenchment mode. The Afrika Korps Pack 38 gets 25% more move speed, meaning it can outrun infantry. And the LG40 can move at full speed while in camouflage. The 2-pounder is different from the other AT guns. It already has high accuracy, so it gets penetration bonuses at Vet 2 and Vet 3 instead. Its identity is the most mobile AT gun, so it didn't get the setup time nerf this patch, and has a rotation rate buff at Vet 2, making it quicker to change angles than other AT guns. Looking at the big boy AT guns, they share similar veterancy. They used to get a rate of fire buff at Vet 3, but that has been moved to Vet 2, replacing an accuracy buff. Given that the 17-pounder already has high enough accuracy that it is 100% chance to hit a Panzer IV at max range, getting the rate of fire at Vet 2 instead of accuracy will make these two deadlier earlier in the match. At Vet 3, the 17-pounder gets plus 100% accuracy, which makes it guaranteed to land on anything larger than a Kettenkrad at max range. And the 88 gets more damage at Vet 3, which also boosts its anti-air performance, meaning it shoots down loiter planes in 2 shots instead of 3. An important change is that all AT guns except the 2-pounder lost their penetration bonus at Vet 3, a considerable nerf to their performance against heavy tanks in the late game. Given that Relic has said more heavy tanks are coming in February's battle groups, this does make me worry. Looking at the AT specialist squads, at Vet 1 they now get flat health instead of received accuracy, which I think makes sense given they are often fighting against vehicles that are doing explosive damage, and received accuracy wouldn't help against that. The bazooka gets the larger penetration boost at Vet 2, and an accuracy boost, where Panzerjägers get a rate of fire boost, which is more useful to them since the Panzerbuchse is already 100% to hit any vehicle. At Vet 3, Panzerjägers get plus 5 weapon range, which equals them to the main gun range on most tanks. This also means they can shoot at squads and be out of range of return fire. Panzerjägers also get plus 20% damage at Vet 3, which could make them very potent against vehicles when they salvage a bazooka. Whereas the bazooka team gets plus 7.5 range on their steady fire boost. This brings them up to 50 range in steady fire, enough to comfortably outrange most tanks if you can get them vision. They also get plus 30% to rate of fire at Vet 3, but they used to get another penetration boost here, which is now gone. Moving on to mainline infantry squads, all of them are 10% harder to hit at Vet 1. Snaring squads get plus 40 damage on their snares at Vet 2, which is noted on the snare rather than in the Vet bonuses, except for the Italian Coastal's snare, maybe because it has the extra feature of a blind on it. At Vet 2, Australians, Bacillary, Coastal Reserves and Palm Greens get 15% more accuracy, and they also get an extra combat boost like more received accuracy, rate of fire, or an extra soldier in the squad. Grenadiers and Riflemen get a higher 25% boost to accuracy at Vet 2, but ability recharge as their second stat instead of another combat boost, so you can merge more often, and Riflemen become good at chain anti-tank grenading down vehicles. Tommies get the high plus 25% to accuracy and plus 15% to rate of fire, the best of this group for combat at Vet 2. At Vet 3, Coastals get the lowest value of plus 10 to health. I think Relic were worried with the 7th man they would become too strong if they got full fat Vet bonuses. Tommies, Riflemen and Palm Grenadiers get plus 15 to health. Grenadiers, Bacillary and Australians get plus 20 to health. It feels like Relic try to give Grenadiers an extra boost through Vet since they don't have a weapon upgrade. All but 2 of the main lines get plus 15% to accuracy at Vet 3. Tommies get 15% rate of fire instead. This is good because their scoped rifle will already be close to 100% to hit against squads in the open. Riflemen get a huge 35% boost to rate of fire at Vet 3 instead of the accuracy bonus. This makes up for what they missed out on at Vet 2. And finally, for the mainline's Vet 3 unique stat, Australians get plus 25% to speed, which feels fitting for them. However, the firing on the move performance of their scoped rifle upgrade is relatively bad. So if you want to run and gun chase for wipes with the extra speed, you might be better off not upgrading them. Bacillary move 20% faster in their out of combat quick march. Grenadiers have plus 5 to Panzerfaust range, making them a nightmare to avoid with your vehicles. Coastal Reserves, Palm Grenadiers and Tommies are 15% harder to hit, and Riflemen are 20% harder to hit, cementing them as the premium combat mainline. With the overall removal of a lot of combat bonuses spread across Vet 1 to Vet 3 on these mainlines, this will make it easier for elites. Elites hit the field later, sometimes when mainlines are already Vet 2, but now the mainlines will be weaker at Vet 2, making the first few minutes of using the elite more successful. Moving to the close and mid-range specialist squads, at Vet 1 all of them are 15% harder to hit, except Foot Guards who are 20% harder to hit. At Vet 2 most of them get 20% harder to hit, except the 2 units that can camouflage, who get weapon accuracy instead. Rangers and Fallschirmjäger get a 20% rate of fire increase, and the rest get 25%. Moving up to Vet 3, Assault Greens, Foot Guards and Panzer Greens get plus 15 health, Commandos and Fallschirmjäger get plus 20 health, and Guastatori get plus 25 health. When combined with their innate 25% damage reduction and 6 men, this makes Guastatori the highest durability squad in the game at Vet 3. Rangers get 20% damage reduction instead of bonus health at Vet 3, and given their 115 health, this is better than all but the Guastatori's bonus. Panzer Grenadiers and Assault Grenadiers get plus 30% accuracy, Guastatori get 25%, and the ambush units only get 20%. Rangers get 33% rate of fire instead, which is more useful than accuracy for some of their equipable weapons like the flamethrower and bazooka, and this also explains their lower rate of fire boost at Vet 2. It also makes me wonder why Guastatori didn't get similar treatment, since their accuracy boost won't help the double flamethrowers. And Foot Guards get plus 33% to damage, which boosts up their anti-tank capabilities as well. Being so strong, this looks like it counts as their Vet 3 unique stat as well. And for the other Vet 3 unique stats, Assault Greens get a 50% reduction in ability recharge time, so you can spam their grenades. Panzer Grenadiers get a 50% bundle grenade cost reduction. Commandos get plus 50% to speed during first strike. Maybe this could be useful to get in range to snare vehicles. Fallschirmjäger get the ambush bonuses for an extra 7 seconds, so they will absolutely shred for those first 12 seconds of an engagement. Rangers get 35% suppression resistance, and I guess the extra health was the boost for Guastatori. Guastatori also used to get some engineering related bonuses that have been completely removed, so maybe one of these could be added back at Vet 3. Rangers used to get received damage at Vet 1 and more health at Vet 2 and Vet 3, so I imagine they will be noticeably less durable against explosive damage after these changes. Compared to mainlines, most of the elite bonuses are 5% higher, so elites will stretch their lead over mainlines in combat as the game progresses. Now, looking at the long-range specialists, at Vet 1 they are all 15% harder to hit, except Stormtrooper, who are 20% harder to hit. At Vet 2, paratroopers get plus 15% to rate of fire, SSF commandos get plus 20%, Gurkhas and Stormtrooper get plus 25% to rate of fire. The Veterancy description specifies that Jaegers get 20% faster cooldown, which is good for their rifles that don't have to reload often, but not as good for the Panzerschreck that has to reload every shot. Also at Vet 2, Gurkhas, Jaegers and Stormtrooper get plus 15% to accuracy, where SSF commandos get a high plus 30% to accuracy. Paratroopers get an incoming damage reduction instead, which can be formidable when combined with their Vet 1 bonus near a capture point. LMG commandos became the commando support section this patch, and they arrive 1 command point earlier. Their Vet 2 bonuses were gutted. All combat bonuses were replaced with 2 rather weak support bonuses instead. Improving the range they can reinforce other commandos at, and 25% shorter cooldown on the single ability that they have. I guess Relic were worried that with their earlier timing they might end up too strong. Going up to Vet 3, all the long-range specialists get plus 20 health. Gurkhas get 15% faster rate of fire. SSF commandos, paratroopers and Jaegers get 20% rate of fire, which may explain why Jaegers only got cooldown at Vet 2, otherwise their rate of fire on the Panzerschreck at Vet 3 might have been nuts. Stormtrooper got 20% accuracy instead of rate of fire. When it comes to their unique Vet 3, Gurkhas and Jaegers get plus 20% to accuracy. Paratroopers and Commando Support section got plus 30% to accuracy. Do note the Commando Support section only gets 2 Vet 3 bonuses instead of 3. And with no combat bonuses at Vet 2, their overall vet is very underwhelming compared to the competition. SSF commandos get plus 10% to move speed, which does make it noticeably easier to chase vehicles with their bazookas. And their double 20% rate of fire bonuses help in the anti-tank department as well. Stormtrooper get a free grenade every 2 minutes. The cooldown of this is indicated by the white icon. Looking at the engineering units now, at Vet 1 they all get 15% harder to hit. Remember that mainlines are only getting 10% at Vet 1. At Vet 2, the most common bonuses are plus 3 to repair rate, and constructing objects no longer causes the unit to take bonus damage, so engineers don't die as fast if they are fired upon mid-building a mine. However, Panzerpios and Sappers don't get repair rate at Vet 2, they get combat bonuses instead, Sappers getting 20% harder to hit, which is good for them since they have to close the distance to be effective, and Panzerpios get 20% rate of fire, good for their weapon upgrades like the grenade launcher. Falchion Pioneers are the odd ones out at Vet 2, they get repair speed and a high 25% rate of fire boost. At Vet 3 they all get plus 20 health, except for Sappers who get 1 extra man. From here we are going into their uniques. US engineers get buffs to the satchel charges range and cost. Pioneers get more repair speed again, and no longer take extra damage while repairing. Panzer Pioneers get the repair rate they missed out on at Vet 2, and rate of fire again. Sappers also get the repair rate they missed out on at Vet 2, and 30% longer bursts. Comparing how long it took to kill a Guastatori model, this doesn't seem to improve their flamethrower's performance by very much. Falchion Pioneers get 35% more accuracy, the highest of any vet bonus we've seen so far. This is more suitable for their LMG than their grenade launcher, where it does almost nothing. I feel that Falchion Pioneers could probably still afford to get the no longer takes bonus damage while constructing like the other engineers. They also lost a relatively high number of bonuses, including double rate of fire, so I imagine those grenade launcher spam strats you sometimes see in 4v4 will be noticeably weaker. Both snipers have the exact same Vet 1 and Vet 2. At Vet 2 they have a new bonus of longer camouflage duration upon exiting cover. This will make it easier to stay camouflaged after vehicles have hit the field and crushed a lot of the cover positions. Their Vet 3s are completely unique. The US sniper gets plus 10 vision range and a nutty plus 80 health. The Wehrmacht sniper gets bonus rate of fire and more rate of fire when attacking from camouflage. They both lost harder to hit at Vet 2, and the Wehrmacht sniper lost 10 health at Vet 3, so it's really a glass cannon. They also both lost accuracy bonuses at Vet 2 and Vet 3, so they will be worse at hitting retreating units. Scouts and their variants have the same 15% harder to hit at Vet 1 and 50% capture speed at Vet 2, but no buff to decapture speed. From here they differ. The Scout gets 10 vision and detection range, which means they can reveal snipers a staggering 35 range away, where Pathfinders and Artillery Observers get 30% more accuracy instead. At Vet 3 they all get plus 20 health. The Scouts get ability range and cooldown buffs, making them better at scouting. The other two get 40% faster rate of fire and a smaller plus 5 vision and detection range buff. Comparing these bonus numbers to mainlines and combined with the newly introduced vet gain on Scouts from capturing and decapturing, I think we can see why these units have been performing very well post-patch. And finally we have the two officers, the Captain and the Artillery Officer. Both of their veterancy is focused on survivability and their abilities, with the Captain getting higher ability recharge bonuses. The Artillery Officer focuses on the supervised sector boosts. Also, the overwatch radius is increased by 7.5, not 5 as the description says. The veterancy changes for vehicles, howitzers, and the rest will be covered in a future video. Thanks again to Lady Rytsu for creating the veterancy comparison sheet. Make sure to follow her, especially if you speak French. And thank you to my Patreon backers who make these deep dives possible.